Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, June 24th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Devastating flooding in the Midwest, peaking today. Here we're looking at the devastation of a railroad bridge on the Big Sioux River in North Sioux City, South Dakota. More devastating footage ahead as the biggest story in U.S. history just hit. Keep calm. It's boom time. And we start off with the story of the century. Julian Assange is free. WikiLeaks founder is freed in a deal with the U.S. Assange pled guilty to one charge of espionage and will return home to Australia after decades fighting U.S. extradition. Holy macaroni. We actually have footage of Julian Assange just hours ago being freed. This is the first video of Assange being freed as he's headed back to Australia. And what an ordeal this man has gone through. Check it all out over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave on X. At least 2 dead as devastating Midwest flooding triggers evacuations. At least 1 person in Iowa and 1 person in South Dakota have died due to the flooding. Nearly 3 million people in Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Nebraska have been affected. In the border area of Iowa and South Dakota, devastation from the record flooding was severe and widespread, according to Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. At least 1 person in Iowa and 1 person in South Dakota has died. Flooding impacts will continue in parts of Iowa, South Dakota, but the chance for additional rainfall the next 2 to 3 days is low, which is good news. Here is an aerial view from today that shows flooding in Spencer, Iowa, which obviously is extremely devastated. You can see the number of buildings here underwater. And homes. We also have footage of the Rapidan Dam in Blue Earth County, Minnesota, completely overstepping its bounds and is about to fail. Well, the good news here is that most of the population below the dam has been evacuated and are aware of the situation. So everyone is out of harm's way as this dam is in danger of imminent failure. Take a look at that footage. Holy macaroni. Look at that blowout on the side there. Debris filling up there. We do have some more footage from this dam. Let's take a look at that. If I could just pause this. The Blue Earth River sweeps away building at Rapidan Dam in Minnesota. Say it ain't soda, but it is. There's the building. As the devastating erosion is happening there around the side of the dam, if that cuts down enough, it may be good news. It'd be a new emergency spillway, so to speak, and relieve some of the pressure on that dam. But there are thousands of people that have been evacuated downstream from this region for good measure. Take a look at some of these photos of the breach. That was the initial breach, and you saw how big that cut bank has been cut down there. So our hearts and prayers go out to those affected in Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. And here we could see footage of that breach from a helicopter angle. That is a lot of flow and a lot of erosion now since the initial breach. There is still imminent danger on this dam as more erosion is occurring right here. Look at the amount of water. Oh my goodness. Absolutely insane. Thanks, Hunga Tunga. And here again, we have drone footage from that bridge over the Big Sioux River in North Sioux City, South Dakota, completely blown out and destroyed earlier today. Take a look at that. So it's going to be a while before a rail car goes across that, if it was in fact operational. I would imagine it was, but clearly no longer. So lots of infrastructure being destroyed today by the moisture from Hunga Tonga. Now, what's causing the devastating flooding in the Midwest? Can you believe there is an article with a headline like this? I can. We live in a dystopian world where the media tells you the opposite of the facts, and if you say anything otherwise, you're a bigot and a retard. I wonder what caused the devastating flooding. Maybe the 18 inches of rain, perhaps? Heat dome scorches cities coast to coast as dangerous temperatures enter the second week. Some call it summer, but I do digress. Let's take a look at the U.S. Drought Monitor, a map released June 20th, 2024, showing all drought eliminated in California and the West Coast, and limited drought for most of the U.S. Just one region here in southern New Mexico, that's where the Ruidoso devastating fires are happening now, the Salt Fire and, gosh, I forget the name of the other fire. Those have been mostly put out due to torrential rains that have happened over the last several days, and a few isolated areas of West and South Texas, the next of the Schmexes, also in that drought bubble. But with the amount of precipitation we've been seeing in just the last 6 months, I would imagine that most of this drought will be coming to an end soon. And that's a boom. Speaking of smoke and fires, which we weren't speaking of, here is the fire and smoke map for northern North America here. And you can see most concentrated smoke is up here in northern Canada, which is good news. A little bubble of it over here in Wyoming. And, well, no smoke emanating from the Ruidoso fires. That's pretty fantastic. Albeit a lot of the country is smoked out right now, about 50%. Let me know if it's smoky in your region. Here's the full forecast. Heat wave in the central and southern U.S., severe thunderstorms and excessive rainfall in the upper Midwest. An ongoing heat wave will continue today and Tuesday from much of the Great Plains to the lower Mississippi Valley and into northern Florida. Dangerous heat is also expected in Southern California as well as Puerto Rico. Scattered severe thunderstorms will be possible over parts of the upper Midwest today, with destructive wind gusts possible for parts of Minnesota into Wisconsin. Say it ain't soda, but it's true. Click on the county for more information for your region. Quick look at the GFS model. We'll move it through 6 hours. So by morning, an explosion of severe weather over Minnesota and Wisconsin, moving east into Michigan by midday. And then by Wednesday, a secondary explosion over the central U.S., including Iowa, maybe even Indiana and Ohio. Spicy in Oklahoma, potentially, as the pattern moves east. And, well, it looks like a normal activity for days, nothing that severe, which is good news. Canada hit with extremes. We reported on it last night. It is below normal in the west, above normal in the east. And, well, they're only reporting on the high temperatures. Swiss glaciers recover to levels haven't been seen for decades, as ski season is delayed in South America after record snow makes it impossible to get to the resorts. And the coldest start to winter in decades for parts of Australia. All of those things do not add up to a warming world. What say you? Leave a comment below. 368 quakes since February and increasing. Seismic activity shows signs of Mount St. Helens recharge. We reported on this about a week ago, keeping a close eye on all of the data coming in from St. Helens. And the quakes continue to pump in. We're now at 149 quakes in the last 30 days, the most ever recorded since we started the channel. Seismic update, take a look worldwide. We've got some activity here in the West Coast. In Lamont, California, it looks like multiple tremors. Well, actually, an initial 4.1, and that is now followed by a 3.5 aftershock. Okay, nothing significant there. The fact that there's An uptick in moderate earthquakes in California alone is slightly significant. We had some large rumblers today, a 6.3 in Vanuatu at blot echo depth. Nobody felt that, baby. And another quake of concern here in Argentina at a depth of 210.9 kilometers. We could see some larger activity up on the surface here, so keep a close eye on the map as Hawaii is heating up with the 2.7 in Pahala. Why Mount Rainier is the U.S. volcano keeping scientists up at night, and it is not St. Helens? Well, because Rainier has the potential to kill tens of thousands of people in just about an hour. We're talking about lahars. There is huge amounts of ice and snow on Mount Rainier. I think it's 10 times the amount that was on St. Helens when it erupted, and that means bad news. Not only that, in the last, let's say, 5,000 years, multiple devastating lahars from eruptions from Rainier have run into the valleys where there are now communities that are built up because we've got lots of people on Earth. The snow-capped peak of Mount Rainier, which towers 4.3 kilometers above sea level in Washington state, has not produced a significant eruption in the past 1,000 years. Yet, more than Hawaii's bubbling lava fields or Yellowstone's sprawling supervolcano, it's Mount Rainier that has many U.S. volcanologists worried. Mount Rainier keeps me up at night because it poses such a great threat to the surrounding communities. Tacoma and South Seattle are built on 100-foot thick ancient mudflows. And they're not that ancient. They're in the Holocene. So that's bad news for the people living in Tacoma and South Seattle, because when this baby goes, many of you will go with it. Worldwide volcano news update. Sangay to 21,000 foot, Sabancay to 23, Reventador 14,000 foot puff. Stromboli, here's the new lava flow on the Sierra de Fuco. Liwatobi puffing to 10,000 foot today. We've got Merapi coming in at 13,000 foot. Karaminsk, 9,000 foot puff. Sabancay to 23,000 foot. Semeru to 15. Who knew? Now you do. Take a look at the glow here. Small lava flow on the Sierra de Fuco seems to have ceased. As soon as it began, it ended. Reventador, 14,000 foot puff. You can see here Etna spattering in the Voragine crater continues. Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000 foot today. Liwatobi to 10. Sabancay to 24. Reventador to 15. Sangay to 20,000. And wrapping up the list is a final puff from Semeru to 15,000 feet. Space weather news update. We've got a moderate rise over the last 24 hours in activity, but Earth-facing quiet is king, as has been usual for the last decade or so. Ho, ho. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is KP2, which means all quiet with periods of potential psychic abilities. We do have some active regions turning around the limb, but nothing is flaring. And the scary old active region 3664 is looking quite scary again as it is turning into view. Who knew? Now you do. A family is suing NASA after a Florida home is hit by debris from a space station that NASA claimed would burn up in re-entry. Compensation is being sought to account for the stress and impact of the event, while the lawyers said that the case could pave the way for future claims because of how real and serious the issue of space junk has become. This object here, which used to look like this, almost hit the people that lived in the house by just a few feet. And I imagine an object falling from space at terminal velocity, if it hit you, would travel through you and you would be dead instantly. The good news is that the stanchion, which hit the home in Florida, that survived re-entry, here's the original stanchion, here's what it looked like after it burned up, not completely, actually entered the home. Now, I would imagine they could fetch tens of thousands of dollars if they put this item up for auction, because there are very few items that come from space that people can own, and this baby has a story with it. So not only will they make money on the lawsuit, hopefully they make money on the object. Take a look at that. Now, more criminal charges coming, potentially for Boeing. Criminal charges now recommended against Boeing. I can't believe they waited this long. U.S. prosecutors have recommended that the Department of Justice bring criminal charges against Boeing. Boeing, gone. It follows a claim that the DOJ, that the plane maker had violated a settlement related to 2 fatal crashes involving its 737 MAX aircraft, which killed 346 people. Boeing declined to comment whether contacted by the BBC, but previously it had denied violating the deferred prosecution agreement. And this is a long time ago. Many more crazy things have happened to Boeing, including the fact that their astronauts are lost in space. And, well, Boeing is going down. Take a look at this. This is over on our Twitter feed, and I want you to watch the safety window right here literally pop out and fall off of the Boeing Starliner capsule, which is on its way to the pad before the astronauts took off. This is insane. Wait till you see this. Keep an eye up here. Whoops! I mean, if that doesn't look safe, headed to space, I don't know what is. A little breeze there and boom, the door explodes. I don't know how a company this large with this many mistakes can make it this long. What say you? Leave a comment below. I think the federal government is complicit in all of the fraud, all of the conspiracy, and all of the skullduggery that's happening. The government is nothing more than a Ponzi scheme. You want to survive and thrive because the coming collapse is coming soon and you feel it? I feel it too. You might need some emergency medication, let's say if the power goes out forever. How about emergency life-saving medication where you customize the case? It's called the Jace Case, and it's one of our affiliates, where you can get drugs that normal doctors won't give you, like ivermectin and any antibiotic you ask for, as well as insulin. And any drug that you may need, you can get up to a 1-year supply. This is your personalized emergency case. Having the life-saving medication on hand should never be an afterthought. It should be a forethought. You can get medications to help against pneumonia, diarrhea, UTIs, Lyme disease, and other bacterial infections, including Giardia. You can customize your case. You buy one, get one for $30 off. You can add on albuterol, ivermectin, fluconazole, ondansetron, acetazolamide, and others. You can see a full list of the add-on medications for your case: diphenhydramine, EpiPens, fluconazole. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds amazing, and you may need it. So heed the warnings. Support the channel, support your preparedness, well, and support your life. Survive and thrive in the future in a grid down scenario. Get your Jace Case today, and don't listen to your doctors. Antibiotics can last for decades if they're kept in a cool, dark environment. Don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Save your life. Get the Jace Case. Do it now. And we'll see you all at the Crestone 4th of July unique, united, undivided festival in Crestone Town Park, happening the 4th of July from noon to 7:30 p.m. Alien Allen and I will be there, or be square, in the center of Town Park in one of the best spots, because we're awesome and we're allowed to be there. They invited us. So why not join us for an amazing day of fun and festivity and mosquito bites? So bring the bug spray and we'll see you there. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Hit the subscribe button. That's the best way you can help the channel. And then share the video. It's free. You can always become a Patreon. Support the work we do for $1 a month and watch all of our podcasts in one place, commercial free. You can also get the Jace Case. Give yourself peace of mind and preparedness in a terrible scenario. We love you. Be safe, and we'll see you soon in Cresto.